the story. Well, she was talking about stickball, so I'm going to tell that story. And this story, the very first stickball game to ever be played was between the birds and the animals. All right, and as we mentioned before, this game was a way to settle disputes. If I had an argument with somebody, we could play this game. Whoever won the argument, and that was it. Nothing else is said. So, what was the argument between the birds and the animals? Well, it was who was superior. Alright? Animals saying they were superior than the birds because they had strength, they had agility, they could do all these wonderful things. They had paws to slash, and they had hard shells to crush things. That was their argument. The birds said, well, we can fly. Some of us can fly so high that you can't see us. And then we can come back down. And we can see as far out and see if there's a war party coming before you'd even know it. Well, they said, well, let's have a game. We'll have a game, and whoever wins, they'll be superior. And they'll be second. So they agreed. Well, they went their separate ways. The animals were having their council a little ways out, and Bear, he was the captain of his team, and his key players was the deer, the terrapin, and there was a panther that he had selected as his key players. There were other animals that were in it too, but they're talking big talk. They're talking about how they're going to beat the birds, how they don't have a chance. They're talking and making their strategy. There was two animals come up. And then one animal, he tugged up on Bear's leg. He says, Bear! And he's looking up out, and Bear looks down, and he says, what is it? Bear, we heard about the game. We want to play with you. Bear looked at the animals, and he started laughing. He says, you're better off being the ball. What can you do? You don't have strength. You're not fast. You just get in the way. You'll be killed. And that little animal says, no, we really want to play. We can help. Bear says, no, go on. Why not? And that animal tried, please. Then Bear slaps them away. And they go flying way out long ways. And they're rolling. They hit a tree. They hit that tree. They hear some talking up in there. And they look up. And they notice it was the birds. They were having their little council and making their strategy. So they decided they would ask the birds, and they climbed up that tree. And they sing Eagle. Eagle was the captain for the birds. His key players was the hawk and the woodpecker. And they're talking, and that little animal says, Eagle. Eagle looks around, and he looks down, and he says, yeah, what can I do for you? Eagle, we heard about the ball game, and we want to play. Eagle looked at him, and he says, well, you're an animal, you're four-legged. Shouldn't you be talking to Bear? That little animal said, well, we tried that already. And he just said we were better off being the ball, and he just sort of slapped us away. But we really want to play, and can we please be on your team? Eagle looked at them, and he looked at the other birds, and the birds were shaking their heads. And said, yeah, well, all right. You can be on our team, but you're going to need some wings. Well, that made them animals so happy. They said, all right. Oh, Eagle says, Hawk, I need you to go get me some leather. So Hawk flies off, and he comes back with a piece of leather, and they make some wings. And that first little animal came up. Eagle says, all right, stretch your arms out like this. And that little animal does. Boy, he was so excited. And they attached them wings from that leather onto his hands and onto his sides. Eagle says, all right, there's your wings. That animal says, wow, I've got wings. I wonder if they work. The eagle says, one way to find out, and he pushes them off the tree. There the animal goes, ah! And he finally starts flapping and gets that wind in his wings, and he starts gliding all over the place. And he's flapping a little bit, and finally he come back and landed in the tree. And that's the bat. That's how the bat came. Boy, that other animal, he seen that. Boy, he was so excited. He jumps in and says, okay, me next, me next! Eagle says, we have any more leather? Flutist says, no. No, we don't. That was all the leather I could find. Well, Eagle was thinking, man, we're going to have to do something different with you. He's thinking, and he finally gets an idea. And he says, all right, Hawk, you get on this side, I'll get on this side, and we're going to pull your skin out. We're going to stretch it out as far as we can. That little animal's like, oh, okay, all right. Eagle says, all right, spread your legs and arms out. He does, and they start stretching. That was the most painful thing that creature ever went through. And he's hollering, ah! But they stretched it out enough to where it wouldn't go back. And now he's just sort of got this excess skin and stuff. And he says, well, is this going to work? Eagle says, one way to find out. Pushes him out. Ah! And finally he stretches out his arms and legs out. He's soaring. Got that air. He's going all over the place. He's gliding around. He finally comes back up in the tree. That's a flying squirrel. Eagle looks at him, he's smiling, he says, all right, you two ready to play ball? Boy, those animals were happy. They're going to play ball. Well, they went through the ceremonies and stuff and got ready for the game. A couple of nights go by, and finally the day of the game comes. Here from this side we had the animals come in. The birds are coming in over this way. They meet up in the middle. They all lined up. They throw that ball up. Bear swats and it goes flying out over towards the other end of the field. There goes Eagle flying in. He gets it. He about gets hit by a horn from deer, but he glides under there. He tosses it over to Hawk. Hawk goes, but Turtle almost snaps him in half, and he tosses it over to Bat. Bat goes in. Boom! There's a point. Bear's looking. He says, that thing, no, couldn't be. They line back up again. And that ball gets thrown up. Eagle gets it. He swoops under Terrapin. Terrapin goes, and Panther tries to pounce on him, but he's too slow. Boom! There goes another point. There, 2 points already on the board. They line back up again. And they go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, until finally the game was tied up. Now, back a long time ago, these games could go on for days. That's how good these players were. And imagine if you had to go up against a team of 600, it would take days. But there they go. This is the last point. They go up to 12 points. They're tied up, 11-11. Last play of the game. They line back up. That ball is thrown up in the air. There go Bear, swats it, goes down that way. Here comes Flying Squirrel, boom, catches it. He goes in, he tosses it to the Eagle. Eagle goes through. That gets pounced by Panther, and the ball goes flying over. Bear catches it. He's running. Here comes Hawk. Hawk comes in, scratches him in the eyes, gets the ball, tosses it to Bat. Bat tosses back over to Flying Squirrel. Flying Squirrel dodges deer. Boom! There's the winning point. Boy, it was decided then and there that the birds were the most superior in the woods. Bear just couldn't get over it. He couldn't wrap his mind around the thought that he got beat. He went up to Eagle and says, how did you do it? What are those things? Eagle just kind of laughs. He says, well, you remember those two little animals you wouldn't let play on your team? Bear says, yeah, I recall, yeah. Eagle says, well, those are them. Bear he shook his head and said, no, that can't be them. The ones I seen, they couldn't do nothing. Eagle says, that's them. And because you underestimated them, they beat you. And they won the game for us. And Bear just shook his head and said, yeah, I guess so. So, as we mentioned, morals is not to underestimate anybody, no matter the size, stature, or whatever. It's an equal opportunity, and you go with it. And the eagle seen that, and if he hadn't took those little animals in, and Bear did, why them animals would have been superior. But eagle had enough wisdom and enough knowledge to allow those animals to play with him, and that was the big first and greatest ball game that was ever played, and that was the birds.